I thought I need to do something that's so difficult and so uncomfortable that any bad part of you that you're carrying along won't survive. Let those bad habits and everything just burn away. Growing up, I was pulling stuff apart all the time. When I was 18, I got an Alfa Romeo 916. That was like the first domino on like the Alfa Romeo thing. I was working part-time at university for an Alfa Romeo specialist and mechanic. The one that I'd always had my heart set on was I wanted a step-nose Alfa. And I put the word out. It took 2 weeks. And a guy called me up and was like, it's a shell sitting in my garage. All the parts are in boxes. Do you want it? And I was like, yes. Over about 2 years, I put that car back together. I was rebuilding it in my spare time and driving the 73 as my daily driver. And it was one day, a Friday afternoon after university, and I'd gone by my friend Alan's workshop. And they were struggling with like a big diesel SUV at the time that was giving them like a lot of trouble. And they were like, I would never drive up through Africa in a big SUV like this, because if it goes wrong, you're just left stranded. And Alan made this throwaway comment. He was like, if I had to drive up through Africa, like head to England right now, I would take that little red Giulia TI, which was his, like sitting in the corner. I was driving back home that night, just going like, can you drive through Africa? Is that possible? Do the roads all like meet up? Is there a route? And could I do it in like an Alfa Romeo 105? I spent a whole week just obsessing over that idea. I hadn't been so excited about an idea in years. I couldn't sleep that first night. I was on Google Maps and Google Earth looking at the route and trying to work it out, and looking for blogs of people who'd done it. It was just like the best idea. I was always a bad student. And I just thought like, I really want to do something difficult. I want to cut my teeth on something. I needed a challenge. And that sounded like a really good way to do it. When I built the car, I did the opposite thing to what most classic car guys do. I was like perfect factory everything. So skinny 15-inch wheels, Dunlop brakes, had spotlights, and then it had a plug for like charging a laptop or anything, and like a USB charger. And in the boot, it had a 65-liter extra fuel tank. Like that was it. And apart from that, it was just stock. I wanted to prove this thing that you could do it in a factory spec car. I knew that if I didn't do it, it would be something that for the rest of my life, it would be this huge what if. And I knew I had to do it alone, like a real journey of self-discovery, really. And you have to rely on yourself completely. It was about 9.5 months. It was this winding thing back and forth and traveling around, and so definitely not a straight line. From South Africa up into Zimbabwe and Zambia at Victoria Falls, and then up into East Africa through Tanzania and Kenya. Yeah, Kenya through Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, through the Sinai into Israel. And then from Israel, I jumped to Cyprus and Greece on a ferry, then up through Italy into Switzerland, through into Germany, and then into Austria, and then from Vienna to Prague in the Czech Republic, and then Prague to Berlin, Berlin to Hamburg, and then from there up through Denmark and a ferry to Norway. And then I was in Norway for like a month, over Christmas and New Year's in the snow and the ice. From Norway it was down through Sweden, back to Denmark, back to Germany, to the Netherlands, Belgium, France, a ferry to Ireland, and then, which is where the trip officially ended, but I stayed in Ireland for a few weeks and then went over. Yeah, 25 countries and 22,000 miles. If you read the news too much, you think every country in the world is like a terrible place. If you read the news about Sudan, you'll think it's just a war zone. And I met the most incredibly generous and helpful, kind people there. People are generally good. That's what I learned. The world is not as scary as everybody thinks it is. I mean, it's scary, it's difficult, but it's nothing that can't be handled. One day you'll have like an AK-47 shoved in your face by a difficult soldier or something. You'll have kids throwing rocks at you. Some kids in Ethiopia, they got me good. They got me on the side of the head. You've got to learn to push through the downsides because you never know when you're going to be having dinner with a celebrity chef in Tel Aviv, or partying with like new friends in Norway, or being on the side of the road in Italy somewhere trying to fix your car as the train whirs by in the rain and the cold. Trying to adjust to the highs and lows is pretty difficult, but you always got to remember, as bad as it gets, you'll get through it. I live on like the tip of this huge continent. I knew nothing about it. It's so big, it's so varied. There's something about like the freedom you feel, especially when you're in East Africa, like Kenya and Tanzania. I think you really form a bond with the car when you're in the middle of somewhere pretty dangerous. Like where I was, if the car broke down, that's it. Good luck getting to a water source before you die of thirst, because it's like 45 degrees and it's 300 kilometers to the next town. You've got to rely on your car, like it's a life and death thing. And when you've relied on a car like that, you have this incredible bond with it. And I was definitely going down that route, high school, university, job. And I could tell it was terrible, the things that I cared about. I don't think I was a very strong person back then. And if I think about who I was before I did this trip and who I am now, it's two completely different people. You find out what you like and what you really don't like, and what you like under pressure. You know, at the end of 9-10 months on the road on your own, there are not many places in your head that you don't visit. So it had to be something I had to do alone. And I've been back here for about a year. I'm really itching to do it again, to get back out on the road and do it in a way that I can share what like an incredible experience it is, and to help change people's perspective of what Africa's like. Well, the biggest risk is you could end up dead in a shallow grave in the desert somewhere, or you could end up upside down in a ditch and dead, or you could be kidnapped, or you could die of malaria, or you can meet 1,000 incredible people. You could have like experiences that you never thought you could have, or you could get rid of all the bad parts of yourself. You could change your life and have just like the most ridiculous adventure that you never thought you could ever have. Yeah, being out on the road is, I think it's the most rewarding thing that you could possibly do.